अब मैं एक बहुत इम्पॉर्टेंट शख्सियत को आज मैं अगले डिस्कशन और अगले स्पीच के लिए या उनके ऑब्जर्वेशन के लिए इनवाइट करूंगा। साइलेंटली अपना काम करते हैं, वो एंटरप्रेन्योर हैं, अपने आप में अपनी एफर्ट लगा के और अपनी एडुकेशन को एक ज़रिया बना के लोगों को नौकरी भी देते हैं। ये इम्पॉर्टेंट इसलिए मैं कहना चाह रहा हूँ। थिंक अबाउट ए पर्सन हु इज़ मेंबर चार्टर्ड इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ मैनेजमेंट accountant UK. He is MBA from Manchester University. I was in UK and I know how tough it is to get into the University of Manchester, and worldwide I can vouch that MBA from Manchester University is one of the best. I don't remember the number in the world, but surely it is on top of it. Top 50 surely. I mean, that is what I can look for. Member Public Debt Office of RBI. Actuarial Science के एक कोर्स है, Forte is Treasury Management. Forte in Treasury Management, and he is my friend, my source of inspiration and income. I can say he has been very kind to, on my one call, he said that I'll sponsor you, Pranab. I look forward to your program. And आज इन्होंने पूरा दिन, आज स्टॉक मार्केट खुला हुआ है, मंडे है, मंडे को स्टॉक मार्केट की क्या ज़रूरतें होती हैं, जो लोग अब स्टूडेंट्स हैं या स्टॉक मार्केट को जानते हैं वो बताएंगे. लेकिन आई एम वेरी वेरी थैंकफुल टू विनीत नाहता जी. यू हैव टेकन योर टाइम, यू हैव इंस्पायर्ड मी to work, and at the same time you have taken time to be here today. Let's talk about जो प्रोफेसर साहब ने कहा था कि कॉरपोरेट को एकेडमिक्स के साथ टाई अप करना है, एकेडमिक्स को कॉरपोरेट के साथ टाई अप करना है. That is important. Tell us something, enlighten us with your wisdom. You have a worldwide network of friends and associates. You have and the social human being that you are. How do you take time? I fail to understand. I say myself that I work religiously for 16, 17, 18 hours, but you have put me down. But I'm ever so proud of you. Vineet Nahata ji, thank you very, very much for coming, and please enlighten us with your wisdom.
I shall continue with what Sir said about the state of affairs of the Indian economy. Most of the salient features he has already covered. A few new observations, I'll just highlight them. Our country happens to be this year chairing the presidency of G20. Indian sovereign debt market happens to be at the cusp of a new turnaround. We are supposed to be included in the national bond index, in the sovereign bond index of MSCI. So this is going to be a game changer as far as the fund inflow of overseas in Indian sovereign debt is going to be in times to come. And it is going to be a milestone as far as our outreach to the 5 trillion economy is, as far as the funding part of the 5 trillion economy is concerned, because infrastructure happens to be the major challenge where long-term gestation period is there. Long-term funds are needed, and in the past we've had debacles where longer duration infrastructure projects were funded by short duration loans. IL&FS happens to be the case. Apart from that, we had the debacle of Yes Bank. So this Indian sovereign debt market right now happens to be at the sweetest spot as far as the foreign institutional investment is concerned. I'll just give you an example. Our economy is the only economy where real rate of return happens to be positive. If you must have studied in your olden days, the real rate of return happens to be the nominal rate, which is the sovereign yield, the interest rate of government securities minus the inflation. At present, we are having a real rate of return of 2%, which is absolutely magical. If you compare it with the Western world, United States has a negative real rate of return of close to 3.5 to 4%. Even UK. India is one of the brightest countries and the only countries where the intrinsic worth of our currency happens to be very, very strong. And we are expecting a good inflow. In the last monetary policy, the interest rates were left flat. This was in contradiction to the interest rates being raised across the world. United States raised their interest rates to combat inflation. UK raised, even European Commercial Bank, they had raised. We have gone in for a pause with a view on the declining inflation, and now yesterday and day before, the inflation figures, CPI and WPI, which came in, were very, very favorable. In fact, WPI is negative now. So what I wanted to say is that our economy happens to be one of the fastest growing and strongest in the terms of our the pillars on which our economy is standing. The demographic dividend, as Sir mentioned, happens to be icing in the cake, and the savings nature of the Indian population, that happens to be the backbone of the strength of the economy. This is what I wanted to say, and wish you all the best.
विनीत जी, एक सवाल मैं आपसे पूछना चाहूँगा. आई नो वी आर रनिंग शॉर्ट ऑफ टाइम, बट एक छोटा सा सवाल मैं पूछूंगा. आप रियल असेसमेंट आप दुनिया के लोगों के साथ आप डील करते हैं. यू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट इज़ NYSE, यू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट इज़ लंडन स्टॉक मार्केट, you understand what is happening in Singapore, you understand what is happening in Japan. दो बातें actually. Where is India standing, and how do you do your 24-hour cycle of understanding the whole, keeping yourself abreast as a human being, as an individual? One is understanding the market and where is BSE going. हमने 10 साल पहले कभी नहीं सोचा था कि BSE का नंबर यहाँ जहाँ आज है वहाँ तक कभी हो भी पाएगा. 20 साल पहले हमें मालूम भी नहीं था कि BSE का नंबर क्या है. थोड़ा सा एक if you can tell in 1 minute or 2 minutes, that would be great, sir. Because ये जानना ज़रूरी है कि आपका देश कहाँ है. ये जानना ज़रूरी है कि आपका देश क्यों प्रोग्रेस कर रहा है. ये जानना ज़रूरी है कि BSE और NSE की क्या स्ट्रेंथ है. प्लीज़ सर.
As I said, our economy is poised for a big takeoff. The young population, which happens to be productive, this is one of the mainstays. Agriculture, as Sir said, happens to be the major contributor of our economy. The agricultural sector happens to be providing a great fillip. The best practice management in agriculture. Now you must be knowing drones are being used in seeding, spraying, irrigation. So the new practices, we have been able to adapt the artificial intelligence and the new age technology in various agricultural practices, in manufacturing. This is aiding in a big way. I would like to mention here the defense. Earlier we used to import the most sophisticated weapons. Now we happen to be exporting. As Pranav ji mentioned that the success stories and the Sensex, if you just compare the share prices of our defense companies, our homegrown defense companies, like Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, Mazgaon Dock, Bharat Electronics, Bharat Dynamics, Midhani, Garden Reach Shipbuilders. These stocks have more than doubled or tripled within a very short span of time. India is exporting in a big way to third world countries and even advanced countries. It has various patents in defense. Coming to the other sector of, say, specialty chemicals and chemical fertilizers. After the COVID pandemic, many of the European and American buyers, especially USA and UK, they have stopped importing chemicals and other allied manufactured items from China. India and Vietnam, these are the two countries which happen to be the major beneficiaries of the vacuum which has been created. India has taken a leap, although Vietnam is leading in this, but India also doesn't lag behind. So there, because of China moving out, a good space is created for Indian manufacturing industry. Plus the Make in India initiative of the government has gone in a big way to change it. The productivity linked incentive scheme, which has been introduced by the Ministry of Commerce, this is aiding in a big way in giving boost to the Indian manufacturing sector. So going forward, as I said, as far as the cost efficiency is concerned, inflation in India is pretty low. So this is going to give us a very big advantage as far as our exports need to be competitive in the external world. I hope I have covered most of the points, and I hope we rise and progress fast. The $5 trillion dream of India, I expect that it is going to be achieved much sooner if the GDP growth rate happens to be at a rate of 9.5% to 10%. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vineet. And please put your hands together to express our gratitude to all the panelists present on the stage.